Hello, potato! It's Halloween at last! And to celebrate that, this week's Weekend Magic is going to be almost, but not quite entirely, about Haunted Mansion items. And yes, you can see back here the range of items we've acquired over the last couple of months. And we're not going to focus on those any more than Madame Leota's intro there. They're just there because it's Halloween and it's frankly the last time I'll have any reason to really showcase them. Instead, we're going to focus on new Haunted Mansion items, which completes almost everything I have ordered over the last 3 or 4 months. There's one item I'm still waiting for, which we'll deal with when it gets here. But first, let's look at the one item that's not specifically the Haunted Mansion. This! It looks like a greeting card from Disney. It may look familiar if you've been watching these Weekend Magic videos for a while. To realize it's not just a Mickey and Minnie Halloween card. It's a holder for a Mickey and Minnie Halloween gift card. This one happens to be $25 because that's the lowest amount you can have them issued for. Of course, if you watch this channel, you know that I collect gift cards. And I indeed have one already that they did earlier in the year that has Donald Duck on it and it has the Haunted Mansion in the background. So I got that one, and now I have this one too. But that's not the sole focus of this. That's our only item that's not the Haunted Mansion. But we have a few Haunted Mansion items to cover as well. Namely, the Minnie Mouse, the main attraction items have come in. Let's start out with the pins. Obviously, we need to get a closer look at them, don't we? So here we have a closer look at our Minnie Mouse, the main attraction pins. We've got Madame Leota, very similar to the way she's portrayed on the other items in the set. Kind of bulges out a little bit. It's not a flat one. I think I said that every one of these pin videos now. But hey, there's only 2 more after this, so there won't be many more to deal with it in. But I think this is one of the better attraction pins, honestly. Even though it really just features one ghost. I'm a little surprised what with the veils and all. They didn't do it based on Constance. But maybe they feel like they've done a little too much Constance, and Madame Leota's a little more iconic, being as she's more of an original character, and Constance is kind of a more recent addition, having replaced the old Beating Heart Bride. We have our Minnie pin, and kind of neat, they've made her kind of look like she's scared, which is an interesting difference from every other pin in the series. It's again, it's a nice pin, got the little kind of gold silver outlines here around her, and then of course we have the ears. Yep, very nicely done. Very similar in appearance to the physical actual veil. The nice, they're of course all double backed. They have the little passage, little saying about the ride there underneath the pin backs, so you can't really read them on this. You have to read them off of one of the other items. But they're very nice. Limited release. There's only 2 more of these to go, and then this year is in the bag, and who knows what next year will be. But I do feel like this is definitely one of the better ones this year. Next, let's check out the plush. It's Minnie herself. Number 10 of 12. The set's almost complete. We have all 10 of the plush, well, except for Dumbo. But I guess that showed up on the site, so hopefully that will be coming in soon. That was the one thing I got through Merch Pass up to that point. I've had some luck since then. So hopefully she'll be coming in soon. But for now, let's look at this Minnie. So yep, number 10 of 12. It's got a bunch of little cards say. Let me read the little card off of another item so I don't have to disturb her. There's always room for one more. Embark on a spine-tingling journey through the eerie estate in your doom buggy. Quite a few spectral surprises await. First opening on August 9th, 1969 in the New Orleans Square area at Disneyland Park, the Haunted Mansion attraction continues to promise creepy fun for everyone. And of course, the first thing you can tell is that her dress is very much the wallpaper. The same wallpaper that's inspired my little runner here. And they seem to have themed her after Madame Leota, because on her hat here, and again, this is one of the, only 2 or 3 that doesn't actually have a bow. She has a hat. I know Mad Hatter had a hat, and I think that's it. I think everyone else has had a bow. Now she has flowers on her hat that kind of create the impression of a bow. But nope, she does have an actual hat. And the kind of velvety fabric her hat and jacket are made out of, also fairly indicative of the cast member uniforms. And of course the question, does she have a tail? And no, she does not. She also doesn't have underwear. Which, that's another thing. I wonder, I have to go back and look, see which ones have underwear and which ones don't, because some do and some don't. I guess, I'm wondering if it's just the ones without tails also don't have underwear. I don't know. But she's got a little wallpaper tie. She's got a little veil that doesn't quite come down over her. I mean, it would come down over her eyes if it laid a little flatter, but it really doesn't. And that same mesh is here on the edge of her sleeves. It's a nice one. I mean, honestly, I wasn't super impressed with it when I first saw it online, because I think it looked a little more green. And now the color in person does look a little more ghostly. I mean, most of it. It's a very soft, very like velvety fabric. And they've all had a pretty soft feel to them, but I mean, I think she feels like one of the softest. Now, up until now, my favorite has been Space Mountain. And if anything unseats Space Mountain as a favorite in the plush, and I'm trying to judge it based upon its own presentation as a plush, not based upon the fact it's based on the best ride, this definitely comes close to unseating Space Mountain as my favorite. She came through shipping pretty well. Her ears aren't quite even, but that might be able to be fixed over the course of time. And of course, it's the same mold as all of them. She's got the mittens. She's got her little high-heeled shoes. But yep, she's a very nice addition to the Minnie Mouse The Main Attraction line. And of course, there's one more item in the Minnie Mouse Main Attraction line that we collect. As you know, we don't get the hip sacks and backpacks. And we don't do the mugs because they're mugs. But we do the ears. And these ones are, I think, particularly nice. And I didn't set that quite right. There we go. We've got the Madame Leota in the center, just like on her hat. We've got, I think, much nicer flowers than the more felty ones on her hat. And it's an overall nice presentation. I think this deserves a little bit of a closer look. So here we have a little bit of a closer look at the ears. Of course, they're one size. They have this obnoxious white tag hanging off the side, which doesn't look pretty, but if you cut it off, you're kind of messing up the item. Now, I think this is physically the largest of the ears, in that it has this veil trailing off of it, which is feels like a very different material than the veil on Minnie. It's stretchier. It's not the same sort of veil that's on Minnie on her veil or her wrists. Also, these two black ribbons here, very silky and soft, and again, not similar to anything on the actual plush. And then we have the flowers up top. We have 4 flowers instead of the 2 that Minnie has, and they're more of your kind of fake flower variety than just cut out of felt, like Minnie's was. I guess this sort of stands to reason in that, like, you know, they had a real feather on the Dumbo ears, and it looks like the plush Dumbo Minnie is going to have a felt feather, which is frankly what I expected on the ears. And then we have this little like plastic, I guess, bauble of Madame Leota, similar in appearance to the pin and to the logo on the center of Minnie's hat. Now, kind of an interesting thing here. So remember on the ears for the Mad Hatter ride, they had a hat up here, like the Mad Hatter's hat, and like the Minnie had. Now, while this Minnie has a hat instead of a bow, they have chosen to not go that route on the ears. There's no hat up here. It's just the ears. Oh, I totally missed these. There's also a pair of wallpaper ribbons. Those are nice. However you display your ears, this is going to be another one that kind of will get in the way of whatever method you're using. Because in the same way the hat and the pirate ship especially stick out, preventing it from being flush against the wall, this one, if you're hanging it off of something, there's no break. You know, I kind of was wondering if maybe there would be, like, because I could see in the pictures online that the ribbons split at the center. So I'd wondered if perhaps this would as well, and it doesn't. It's a solid single piece. So I guess if you're hanging these, you're going to kind of push it off to the side. I don't know, that's going to look a little funky. It almost seems like they have designed these to try to just challenge collectors in displaying them in a way that is consistent. Also, this one is very long because of all the dangly bits, although I feel like the Space Mountaineers had dangly bits on them too. So maybe you could put them like side by side. They might be about equal length. We got sequins on the ears. We have nothing on the actual band itself this time. Like, the train, Big Thunder Mountain had the train on there. We don't have any little designs or welcome foolish mortals or anything like that on there. And the back, of course, is you can just see the ribbons and the veil, or the train. Is it a train what's on the back? I think it's a train on a bride, isn't it? Again, it's kind of why I wondered why I kind of thought they would go with more of a Constance theme on this. But I guess Constance, now that she is officially the woman in the stretching room, maybe she's not just being defined so much as the bride as much as she's a Black Widow. But they're nice ears. I feel like they're one of the nicer ones in the series. And I feel like they were probably one of the more popular ones because Haunted Mansion. Oh, one more thing on the ears. I just realized it when I was flipping it over, that the wallpaper ribbon is not the same ribbon or the same fabric being used on the plush Minnie's dress, because it's got the white eyes a lot brighter on here and the purple's a lot darker than her dress is. But this does almost, well, not almost perfectly, but does much more closely match my table runner here with the eyes on it. A lot of the Haunted Mansion wallpaper theme stuff doesn't have the eyes whitened up like that. So our final item today is something that, frankly, I was kind of worried wouldn't arrive, but it showed up yesterday afternoon, thankfully. So I don't have two Haunted Mansion things that I have to shoehorn in somewhere else. And if you came up in the 80s, 80s or 90s, but really the 80s, you may remember the original Star Wars figures. The ones that had like almost no articulation, and the sculpts weren't always that impressive, but they were what we had at the time. And a lot of people remember them fondly, I think largely through the beer goggles of nostalgia. And of course, I mean, there have been worse Star Wars figures than those original 1980s Kenner's ones. The 1990s steroid editions definitely left something to be desired. But due to the nostalgia people have for these old Star Wars figures, because frankly, I don't feel that they were terribly indicative of action figures in the 80s. G.I. Joe figures had lots of articulation. Things like He-Man were a lot bigger. Transformers were a lot more articulated. But people do focus on Star Wars because that's kind of a cultural mainstay for the US. And because of that, a number of years ago, a company called Super 7 created reaction figures. And they were basically done in the style of those old Star Wars figures, like this one here. This is the Diva Pavaragula or something like that, from The Sixth Sense. And yes, while she actually looks like she probably could be a character from Star Wars, she's not. She's from The Sixth Sense. This is a reaction figure. I didn't buy her intentionally. She came in a blind box from GameStop back when Super 7 was partnered up with Funko. It was some Funko blind box. I don't remember what else came in it. I think a pocket pop and a full-size pop. And her. I think there was supposed to be a Fallout pop in some of them, and I was trying to get that, and I don't believe I did. But she came in it, and I didn't open her up. She actually came open. They're blister packed onto cardboard, much like the old Star Wars figures were, and hers had just popped open. So rather than try to seal it back up, I just put her up on the shelf like this. But yeah, they have like no articulation. Her waist bends, her head turns not super well because of her tentacles, braids, dreadlocks, I don't know. And of course, you put her arms up, she looks like a zombie. Now, why am I showing her in a video about the Haunted Mansion? Well, I'm showing her because she's the only other Super 7 figure I have until now. Super 7 has started making some Disney figures, and among them is the Hitchhiking Ghosts from the Haunted Mansion. Now, frankly, when I first heard about these, I didn't think I'd be able to get them because I heard that they were a release for the San Diego Comic-Con. At home, of course, because they didn't have a full-on convention this year. And then, like, a couple weeks after that, they showed up on the Shop Disney site. And they are a kind of shocking $60. $60 for 3 Star Wars-style action figures. But they're the Hitchhiking Ghosts. How could I say no? You know, looking at them, I think they might actually be about the right scale to go in those little dioramas that I did way back at the beginning of the year. Here's the back of the box. Disney The Haunted Mansion. Kind of shadowy looks of them. You can see the reaction logo is kind of done in the old style Kenner logo style. And the ghosts themselves come packaged so they kind of look like they're looking at you through those mirrors at the end of the ride when they're following you home. Now, they're in a sealed box. And I normally don't open sealed boxes, but I really do want to get a closer look at them. So I think today I'm going to, I've long since stopped, my rule of not opening pops. So why not break another rule? It's a special occasion. It's Halloween, and it's the Hitchhiking Ghosts. So let's pop them open and take a closer look at them. All right, I have ever so carefully broken the seal and released the spirits within. And I have to say, Super 7 has come a long way since they released this. Look at compare these next to each other. Yeah, she's much more in line with the old Star Wars figures. These are kind of more in line with later stuff. They're taller, they're better detailed, and frankly, they still have like no articulation. In fact, they have less articulation than she had because she bent at the waist, and they clearly do not. Although their legs do bend a little bit, they're generally all limited by their shirts, though. But they're actually very nice sculpts on them. I think in particular, Ezra's sculpt is actually a little creepy. And each one comes with a little accessory. Ezra has his hat, which you can put on his head, or have him holding, as he frequently is depicted. He is the one that does not want to stand up the most, so let's see if we can get him to stand back up now that I have fiddled with him. There we go. Phineas, being the traveler, comes with his travel bag, again as he is commonly depicted, which does not want to go in his hand. Hold on. Yeah, all I'm doing is bending the rubber. That's not good. There we go. That was not easy. That's not a great design. And then, of course, Gus has his ball and chain, which does not come already attached to him, but there is actually a little metal link on his cuff there, and the chain has a break in the last link that if you wanted to get in there probably with a pair of tweezers, not with my rock biter hands, but with a pair of tweezers you probably could slip that on there. I don't know if that's supposed to be attached already or not, but it wasn't in mine. And you should be able to balance the ball in his hand. Up against his face anyways. So maybe that's why it's not attached, because there's not enough chain there to attach it and have him hold them. I guess there are some other Super 7 Disney figures out now as well. I heard there's like a Sorcerer Mickey, which is definitely one I would be interested in. But for now, we've got these three, and they will do. And yeah, I do think scale-wise, they probably would fit in those dioramas. However, they're probably going to go back in the box, let's be honest. But they're cute, but are they worth $60? You have to, I think, be a pretty hardcore Haunted Mansion fan to spend $60 on these three action figures, which I've now probably drastically reduced the value of by opening them. But they're definitely cute. When I saw them, I figured, well, I pretty much have to, don't I? They're Haunted Mansion, they're action figures. It's been a long time since I've had any Haunted Mansion action figures. But, $20 a figure, that's how much a Marvel Legends figure costs, and they're considerably more advanced and detailed than these. But these are, I think sculpt-wise also, Gus is particularly impressive. The beard and the face, they do really look like they've made an effort to copy the way the animatronics look in the ride, especially with these two. That's actually a really creepy face. I like that. It kind of looks weird with the hat off, though. Let's put the hat on him. And of course, in keeping in style with the old Kenner action figures, they don't have elbows, which means you unfortunately have to make them do things like this. I guess he could be hitting somebody with the bag, I don't know. His face does a good sculpt. His posture is weird. I mean, he's got like a little bit of a hunchback going on here, hasn't he? Almost like his neck comes out of his body at like 90 degrees instead of being on top of his shoulders. But I guess looking at the only other Phineas I have nearby is this one. That's pretty in line with other depictions of the character, right? I mean, how often do you really see them from the back and sides? They generally are facing you in the ride. But they're nice. They're nice. They're nice little figures, and I'm glad I have them. And there we have it. That is all of our Haunted Weekend magic. The Haunted Mansion mostly, and a little gift card. I hope you found this all interesting. If you did, please give the video a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And whatever you do with the rest of your Halloween, please be safe so that I can see you in the next video. Happy Halloween!